Today's sponsor is Name Productions. Not About Me Productions is all about you.
Welcome to this week's show of Mano y Mano. I'm J-Ro.
Wolfman.
And basically we're doing the UFC on FX 2 on March 2nd. We're doing the prelims now.
Yes. All Phones Arena, Sydney, Australia, 6 o'clock p.m.
There's quite a few prelims, so we're going to jump right into it.
Yes, sir.
Basically, this isn't the first fight, but basically I believe it's the fifth fight on the card.
These are on Fuel TV, by the way.
It's James Tahuna
versus Aaron Big Red Rosa.
Big Red.
Yep, big boy.
This fight is being contested at 205 pounds.
Light heavyweight.
A little bit about Tahuna. His skills, he's got boxing, wrestling, and kickboxing as well. He trains at Elite Fight Gym. His last fight, he won against Ricardo Romero, no relation. But he's a very good fighter. He's actually won 7 out of his last 8 fights. Tell us about Rosa.
Big Red. He is from Rodrigo Pinheiro, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fight camp. Prefers a stand-up game though. His third fight in the UFC. Coming off a decision win against Matt Lucas. This is his second fight at 205. He used to be a heavyweight fighter before.
I believe he used to train with Tito as well.
Yes.
Who are you rolling with?
Tahuna.
I'm going with Tahuna as well. I think his skill set, alone wins this fight.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I mean, because Aaron Rosa is going to try and take this fight to the ground, but I don't see it happening.
All right.
On to the next fight. We have Anthony, the Hippo Parash,
versus Nick Pinner.
This fight is being contested at 205 pounds. A little bit about Parash. I mean, he's basically got jiu-jitsu and Kempo karate. He's a second-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's actually a brown belt in Kempo karate. He's got a 2-fight win streak. His last win was against Cyril Diabate. I love that name, by the way.
That's cool.
He had a submission. It was a rear naked choke. This guy, his jiu-jitsu skills are amazing. He's basically been in a lot of competitions and so on. He's got skills.
Nick Pinner, debut, 8-fight win streak. So this guy's pretty legit. All-around fighter, never been stopped. His only loss, it's coming off only a decision. So obviously he's a tough kid.
Yes.
He fights at a Team Threat out of Canada. So this guy's Canadian. Who do you got?
Oh gosh, I think Anthony Parash's jiu-jitsu skills are going to win this. He actually fights at Sinisic Parash Martial Arts, by the way. I forgot to say that.
I'm going with Pinner. I think he makes it 9. His record alone speaks for itself. It's 12-1. He's coming off a decisions. He has to be strong. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, he does have very good skills, but I mean, I'm disagreeing just because Parash his jiu-jitsu skills alone is going to be too much for this kid. I mean, that's why I'm disagreeing.
Okay.
On to the next fight.
Oh, I'm gonna love this fight.
We have Cole Miller
versus Steven Super Seiler.
This fight is being contested at 145 pounds. Basically, a little bit about Cole Miller. Jiu-jitsu. Same thing with Parash.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu. He actually has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he trains at American Top Team. He's coming off a win versus TJ O'Brien. He got a guillotine, and basically he's won 3 out of his last 4 fights.
That's good.
Yes.
All right. Super Seiler. The reason why I love this fight is because Seiler beat Cole Miller's brother to get inside the house on the last season of The Ultimate Fighter, which was Micah Miller.
Yeah.
And Micah Miller was supposed to be, this big top guy, just go in there, submit him like nothing. Yeah, turned out to be the opposite way. He went in there, he did his thing, submitted Cole Miller's brother. So it's going to be like a revenge fight for Cole, yes. I guess you can say. He fights at a Riven Fight Team. Obviously, he was a contestant on The Ultimate Fighter. He got knocked out by Barao, I want to say. Second fight in the UFC. He's coming off a win.
Who are you rolling with?
I think Cole Miller gets the job done, unlike his brother.
I think he gets revenge as well. He's just really aggressive. I mean, he'll stay.
He'll stand. Yeah, he'll stand.
But I mean, if he gets that fight to the ground, say goodnight.
Yep.
On to the next fight. We have Kyle K.O. Noak.
What?
Yes.
Versus Andrew Craig.
This fight is being contested at 185 pounds.
Middleweight.
A little bit about KO. He's a boxer. He loves to stand and fight. He actually trains at Jackson Submission Fighting. Thing about him too, he also is a southpaw. Very difficult to fight. He's coming off a loss to Ed Herman. But before that, he's won 5 out of the last 6 fights.
Yeah, that's nice. All right, Andrew Craig, debut, 6-0, kid's undefeated. All-around fighter, fighting out of, I love this by the way, Team Tukey. Tukey. Yeah, that's his fight camp. Out of Houston, Texas. Like I said, debut fighter, 6-0. I don't know, I think Kyle Noak has the experience over him. I think he's going to take this fight.
Plus, I mean, you said it in his hometown, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I agree with you. I think he wins this fight. But we'll see what happens. Stranger things happen. Next fight. On to the next fight.
Yep.
We have Anthony T.J. Wahlberger. Not Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, my bad.
Wahlberger.
I was going to ask. Okay. Versus Jake Hitman Hecht.
A little bit about TJ. Jiu-Jitsu. He's a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu. He trains, I actually love this, at Grappler's Lair. Not Wolf's Lair.
Oh,
Grappler's Lair. He's coming off a win versus Mike Stumpf. And his record's actually pretty good. He's won 5 out of his last 6 fights. His only loss, out of those 6 fights was to Johnny Hendricks. So.
Yeah, we all see what Johnny Hendricks did.
Yes. Tell us a little about
the Hitman. He's fighting at a Fiore MMA clinic. 4-fight win streak. His last one was a TKO against Rich Antonito. He's a strong all-around fighter, and his only 2 losses are via decision. So he's never been stopped before as well.
What are you wrong with?
I'm going with Wahlberger.
I actually agree. I think he'll be able to get this fight to the ground and submit Heck. Hopefully he needs to, because Heck's a big boy.
Yeah, he's power behind his hand.
And this fight is contested at 170 pounds.
Yep, welterweight.
On to the next fight. We have Mackins, Mac the Menace, Schermzer, something.
Okay. Versus Daniel the Pit Pineda.
A little bit about Mac the Menace. He's got actually a lot of skills. I mean, he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing. He's got, like I said, a lot of skills. This fight's being contested at 145 pounds.
Yes.
His last fight was against Robbie Peralta, and it was actually ruled a no contest later on. It was the illegal headbutt.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and I thought he was supposed to have a rematch, but I don't know what happened. But, I mean, this guy, he needs to win this fight. I mean, he has 1 no contest, 1 win, and then 3 losses.
Yeah, that's not a good record.
So it's not a good record.
No.
I mean, and they thought this guy was going to be really good because back in 2009 in WEC, he actually upset Wagner Fabiano. And if anybody knows who Wagner is, he's a very, very good fighter. One of the best in the world at 145 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So Matkins needs to show up here.
All right. Now about the Pit. He is all-around fighter, Muay Thai, wrestling, and boxing. He fights at a 4-ounce fight club.
4 ounce?
40? I mean, 4.
Oh.
4 ounce. I was thinking 40s there. Oh, my bad. He has 6 wins, 6-fight win streak, actually. His last win was against Pat Schilling. Was a rear naked choke. It's his 2nd fight in the UFC. A little quick fact about him. He didn't fight amateur at all. He went straight pro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this kid, he could be legit. Who do you got, though?
Oh, I don't know. Matkins trains with a good team. He trains with Team Curran.
He really needs this win.
He really needs this win. I'm going with Pineda.
I'm going with Pineda, too. I think his experience is just way too much for Matkins.
I agree. I think Matkins, I think his biggest win of his career was against Wagner, and he just kind of fell off from there. So, Pineda. On to the next fight.
Yep.
We have Ole Thompson.
Ole Thompson, that's cool. Versus Sean the Savage Jordan.
And this fight is actually at a heavyweight, right?
Yes, big boys.
So, a little bit about Ole. He's a former British strongman. So he entered the strongman contest. His debut in MMA, not in UFC, but in MMA was in 2009. This fight is actually his UFC debut. And it doesn't really, I mean, his skill set, most of his wins are by submission if you go back and look at his record.
Mm-hmm.
He trains at ZT Fight School. So let's see what this guy has. I mean, obviously he's strong as hell if he was a strong man.
Right.
On to the next guy.
All right, Sean Jordan, the Savage, his UFC debut. He won 3 of his last 4, and his last victory was back in Strikeforce, actually, against Big Johnson, LeVar Johnson. He's an all-around fighter, and he fights out of Greg Jackson's.
Okay, Greg Johnson, what does he have time to fit everybody in his gym, man?
Exactly. That's a lot of people he's training out of there. I'm going with the Greg Jackson fighter.
I disagree. I think, I think the Greg Jackson fighter, is heavier, but I think Oli, with his submission skills, I mean, he's sick on the ground. He is, and he's strong as hell. I think Oli wins his debut in UFC. He has to. He has to show what he's got.
Well, he is like former strongman or something like that,
yeah,
right?
He has to.
Well, the reason why I disagree is just because he's coming at Greg Jackson's camp. Greg Jackson has by far one of the best camps all over the world.
Best game plans, too, usually.
Yeah, and right now, I guess they have, GSP and Condit both holding the titles, technically, out there. So, I don't know. We'll find out.
So we disagree.
Yes, once again.
We'll see what happens. Well, that's pretty much the prelims for UFC on FX 2 on Friday, March 2nd.
Yep, All Phones Arena, Sydney, Australia. I want to see the prelims start at 3. And the last one that we did, technically the first one, it's on Facebook, by the way, and all the other ones are on Field TV.
Again, these are the prelims. Make sure you watch the main card video as well.
Yes.
I'm J-Ro.
Wolfman!
And that's pretty much it. Till the next time.
Signing out. Peace!